Hello and welcome to another Assiniboia Downs Players Podcast. This is production of In the Money Media. I'm Nahu Mikey P. Mike Proposi. New guest with me this week, a guy that I met a couple weeks ago. We did a pod for Woodbine, and he's one of the young guns, and he shows up on the contest scene. Definitely an excellent opinion. Welcome, Jackson Muniz, to the Players Podcast for Assiniboia.
Good morning, man. How you doing? Good to be here.
Doing great, and we're recording this Monday morning. Now we're going to look at Tuesday's races for Assiniboia and that late pick 4 that we typically go over. The dollar minimum, 50,000 guarantee. Obviously, big pools at Assiniboia. We had a little problem last Tuesday at Assiniboia. Apparently, the had some wildfires and the air quality was no good. And after the first race, they decided to cancel. So that was very unfortunate. So last week's show, all that work wasted. I always say wasted work when they cancel. But we were going to launch a contest jockey last week for Assiniboia, and that didn't happen. So this week we're going to launch contest jockey. Jackson, I know you're a contest jockey player. I see your name on those leaderboards.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on getting involved. And anytime you get a free contest out there, you got to take a swing at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and if you're interested, there's some evergreen contest jockey content on last week's podcast you can check out, because I had Mike Novak. He's the founder of Contest Jockey, and we talked about the website and the specific contest. I'm going to put up a link here for this week's contest. If you're not a Contest Jockey member, you could jump on, and if you can use this QR code also for free entry into that contestjockey.com Assiniboia contest. For this Tuesday, cash prizes, obviously free entry, and it's going to be the first 6 races, 8 races on Tuesday night. So you have to jump in early. You need to be ready to roll at 8:30 Eastern time for Assiniboia there on Tuesday night. We're going to talk some late pick 4 for this podcast. Now, I'd imagine with the cancellation, they still have a couple weeks left, but we have 8 races for Tuesday. They're going to get some of those races that they missed, I think, last week. Typically 7. We're going to go 8 races. So starts in race number 5 this week, and 10:15 Eastern time. It's a 3-claimer, 7 furlongs on the dirt. There's a couple weeks left here, Jackson. Some of these guys are dropping a few in here.
Yeah, there's a couple horses that are taking significant drops, right? And that's probably the biggest one is the favorite, Mr. Dazzle, 8-5 on the morning line, coming out of a $7,500 claimer down to $3,000. That's a pretty significant drop. I'm not super familiar with the conditions here, but I would think this is probably towards the bottom of the class levels they have at this track. He's going to be the one I'm going to beat.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
It's the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably just trying to win one last race before the end of the meet, I would assume. And he's going to be tough to beat. I mean, I'm looking at his figures and all of his last 6 races, and every single one of them is probably good enough to win. And that's on the lower end of his speed figures. He's got speed. He's going to be forward. He can finish a little bit. He's going to be very tough if he runs any of his previous races. So I'm going to use him as a strong A. The one horse I'm going to use as a backup at a price would be the 4 High Press at 10-1. He's a horse that I'm actually familiar with. He used to run out here in Southern California not that long ago. I think it was earlier in the winter. I think his last 2 races you can excuse. You look at the comment lines, duel between horses, force of pace, 3 wide between horses. That's one of my favorite angles with speed horses is when they're dueling between rivals, because it's probably the most taxing position you can be in for a speed horse. You're under pressure the entire way. You're looking 2 different horses in the eye every single step of the way there, and they don't train them that way, right? When you're watching these workouts in the mornings, they're either going solo or they're going with one other horse, and that's just something they're not used to. So I'm almost always willing to toss those races out. You go 3 and 4 back, you earn figures that are pretty competitive against this group, and now he's going to stretch out. He's probably going to be on the lead. So again, he's going to be a B or C type, but I do want to use that horse at a price.
I see this race a little differently. I'm concerned with this drop for Mr. Dazzle. Now I understand the fact that the meet's coming to an end, but this horse is racing at upper levels. I mean, if you look back at his lines, he's faced horses like Slew's Back, Curly Isa, Totalizer, Blazing Bow. Those are the top horses at the racetrack, really, going right now in those upper allowance races. They tried and going for 75 last time, and went to the front, rode the horse like he was the best horse, and he's still tired in that race. Now we're in for 3,000. I mean, That's very concerning to me, especially as well as this horse is raced at the racetrack. Now he is 8 years old, and somebody might jump in and take him, and he certainly can win this race. I was going to try Club Champ, and this is another drop. They claimed this horse for 4,000 last time, and now they're going in for 3 here. Always around it, though, at this level. This horse is a 3, 4, 5 claimer. I mean, that's where he belongs. That's where he lives. He doesn't win a ton. He's only 6 for 42 lifetime, but I liked that race last time. Now he's favored in there. He got a setup. I think he gets a similar setup in here. You mentioned the other speeds in the race here. The 4 especially could turn this race. If he goes early and hooks the 7, that could set it up very well for Club Champ. So I'm going to try Club Champ as an A in the race. One backup I might think of using is the 1 Liars Club, just because I think that the pace goes quick here. Another one that doesn't like to win very much, but he's going to be from off of it. I like the last 2 races, was claimed by the top barn, Lee Delarande last time, or actually 2 back. August 20th, came right back and just missed ahead. Now back in a similar spot. I do think this horse will be moving forward late, and I don't mind the improvement. So the way I see the race, obviously the 7 needs to get hooked up in a duel and stop. If he's out there by himself, I do think he's pretty dangerous in the race. Let's jump to race number 6, and this is a nice stake race. This is a Gold Cup. They're going for 50,000 now. Mount and 8th, so very important here. Several turns at Assiniboia for the Mount and 8th. Lots of nice horses in here, Jackson. I mentioned the Blazing Bows and the the Exactings when we talked about the last race. So how'd you see this race?
Yeah, I kind of had a tough time with this one because 5 of the 6 are all coming out of the same race, where Exacting won that race, and he and another horse opened up 4 or 5 lengths on the backside, and he was kind of just able to hold them all off at the end. And that speed horse does not return in this race. So I don't know. I feel like he's, based on the past performances, he should probably get an easy lead in this spot. But I feel like the other connections also can't let him get away with that. I want to think they're going to be more aggressive. Mostly Big Nick, number 4, and maybe the new face Rousset, number 2. They might be more aggressive and try to go to the front, at least get forward. I'm going to be with number 6 here, Blazing Bow. I just thought he ran the best, arguably ran the best race. Pace wasn't super quick, and he was last. He definitely ran better than Big Nick and Magic Tiger in that last race, out kicking those 2. Galloped out well. I think he's the one that's going to appreciate the stretch out. And his form before that last race, 77, 78, basically pairing up buyer tops. And as an improving 4-year-old, I think he can probably keep improving off of that performance if he can get the right setup in here. So I'm going to be with that horse as an A. Going to use the 1 Exacting and the 2 Rousset as Bs, probably as horses that can just get forward and probably going to get a good trip in this spot.
I see it very similarly. Those are the 3 horses, right? Exacting, the 2 Rousset. That one has some class. Tried the Manitoba Derby and was 5th in that spot. Was bet in there. Was sub 3-1. They went to Century and tried the Canadian Derby. Ran into August Rain. Well, that horse came back to win at Hastings, the British Columbian Derby over this past weekend. So good form lines that this horse is keeping. That tends to fall out of it, though. Some of those last couple starts has been coming from pretty far off of it and then kind of making some big moves. I'd be curious to see the trip here, especially short field. Now, Mount and 8th also. That's something that's an interesting equalizer in here. Yeah, he's been going far. He went a mile and a quarter there at Century and went a mile and 8th in Assiniboia. Now, some of these other horses, they haven't seen a mile and 8th. Horses like Exacting and Blazing Bow. So it's an extra, 16th of a mile for them. That could change the race a little bit. So I think that's why you need to use the 2 in the race. I think Exacting got a really nice ride last time, and that helped. But I think he has more speed than Blazing Bow, and he's always going to be up against it just from his style, Blazing Bow. So now he's really sharp. I mean, he won 3 straight and then just missed when really at a disadvantage there on August 27th. All 3 of those horses, it's not, they're all going to be chalky in here. I think they'll be similar on the tote, but I don't want to lose to any of them, especially in multis.
Yeah, I agree. And that pace that Rousset was up against last time, not up against, but they went 45 and 1.5. I mean, I know he was last, but he was only, I think, 8 lengths behind. So I don't think they're going to go anywhere near that fast in this spot. So I can see him being a little bit closer.
Let's go to race number 7, another stake. This is for 2-year-olds, Winnipeg Futurity, going 6 furlongs. Jackson, you for or against the 1 G I'm Foxy?
I'm for. I'm going to use one other in here, but I am with this horse. She she is the best speed in here, right? And she's won 3 in a row, all by open lengths. She got the best figures in this field. I'm a little concerned that she's drawn the rail. She's gonna have to be more hard scent, more used early than she was last time, where she was able to stalk the pace on the outside in the clear. But I do think she's clearly the one to beat in this spot. The other one I wanted to use is the horse drawn directly to her outside is number 2, Conspiracy Theorist, who I thought ran really well last time. Broke okay, kind of was right behind the speed. There was like 2 horses dueling, and then she was right behind the third or fourth one, or he was, sorry. And he did it the right way. He hugged the inside, then kind of split at the top of the stretch, and one going away, galloped out well, earned a strong figure in that race. So I think that's one that can keep improving in this spot and should get the right trip. Again, I think there's going to be some more speed. The 5 should probably be forward, maybe the 6 as well. So if he can get the similar trip that he did last time, he's going to be really tough in here.
I like the 2 also. I think that this horse, Conspiracy Theorist, August 21st line. If you watch that race, Cowboy ended up on the front at a big price pretty much by himself. And this horse broke a step slow and then was way off the screen. I mean, really went nowhere early. And then all of a sudden showed up late, made up a huge 7 lengths in a stretch in a 5 furlong race for a first timer. That was a huge race for that one. Well, came back on September 3rd and got a much better trip, still off the pace, and was able to win. And that was a nice race. I agree. I do think now this race too, the one GM Foxy, that's a 2-year-old filly going against the boys here. Now she's beat the boys the last 2 starts, and a lot of these horses are similar, but I do think that this horse is improving, has certainly had plenty of adversity here, and you get 9-2 morning line. This horse is going to play very well in Maltese. I definitely want him, and I think that this would be a press for me too. I do think that you could get some separation if he's able to win. I'll use the 1 because 3 straight out of 4 races, certainly has speed, is going to need to be caught, maybe is improving, and she just might be better than these horses right now. So the extra half furlong doesn't really concern me. I think she'll be fine. And I'll use the 3 also, Bound for Heaven, more probably as a B type, but nice win first out going 5, and then ran into Gian Foxy, one way off the pace, and another one had a tough trip there on August 28th. So I think it's probably one of those 3, but still a pretty nice race there in race number 7.
Yep, agree.
Let's go to race 8 to finish, and it's 10 claimers, 3 life, 6 furlongs. Jackson, like PTF says, how are we going to get paid?
I had a tough time with this race. I couldn't really figure out what to do with the 2 second choices, the 2 and the 3. Like, I know they're coming out of the same race, and the 5 makes a lot of sense, but it's a little boring at 8-5 on the morning line. I decided to go the outside, number 7, Brad Sweetheart. I know this is a step up in class, but she won nicely last time, and she did it the right way, stalking the pace on the outside, and 1 going away. She's going to get a very similar trip in this spot, and there's not like there's a ton of speed in here, at least on my DRF figures. There's not a figure for that race, but if you go back to the one she was earning sprinting in Texas earlier this year, those numbers fit really well in this spot, and I just think she might be up to the task here at a decent price. So that's the one I'm going to use most prominently. That's probably my single A, but I'm going to use the 3 favorites as backups, the 2, 3, and 5. I just couldn't really separate any of them. I'm hoping you have a stronger opinion here that I can maybe lean on a little more, but they all make sense. The 3's got some speed. That race kind of fell apart last time when she got beat by Olive's Candy, who also makes a lot of sense, but isn't exactly a win machine at 2 for 18 lifetime. And then the 5, Commando's Last Dance, 8-5 morning line. She is a win machine. She's 5 for 11. She wins lots of races. She'll probably be somewhat forward, right behind the speed, I would imagine. But again, 8-5 in a race that I thought was a little bit more open than that. So I'm going to use more as a backup.
Yeah, I agree with you on the 7 totally. Brad Sweetheart shipped up here coming out of Texas and really just wasn't racing very well in those state bred allowance races. Went in for 5, which is, pretty low number for this kind of horse. And for the top barn was able to win nicely. Now steps up right back in here, within a week, really less than a week. So they're jumping in. I think we'll show speed again. And I think a lot of these horses have been running against each other. I just think the fresh face at the top barn and the fact that the horse likes the racetrack, I think a 6-1 morning line, definite use in this last race. Agree on the 3. I've got all night, just dueled last time and ended up tiring. And you see the comment, 1 duel outside and then tired. Well, that race set up 4 closers, like you said. And that was a wake up there too. I mean, it really was in way too tough in these allowance races here. Really couldn't hang there. This is much easier spot for this horse. Now, probably needs to get the front and be by herself to win, but I do think that that's a possibility depending on what the 7 does in the race. So that one's a use for me. And then the 5 would be more of a backup. And we were talking off air about something earlier. Well, that August 27th race was the race I was telling you about with Commando's Last Dance. Was able to kind of get a trip there and get up late to win, beating under budget. And under budget just doesn't really like to win all that much. Really just kind of finds a way to lose late. And I think this horse will take a lot of money coming out of these allowance races and the Manitoba Oaks and things like that. Well, now this horse is in for 12.5. It's late in the meet. Again, a horse that if I owned, I certainly wouldn't want to lose. Has certainly done well here. I mean, 3 wins and 6 starts and won a couple races last year. So that's a little concerning for me. I don't like the tag here, especially because this horse has been protected basically her entire life. So I don't know. I'm more. I think the 5 can win. Maybe I'm a little mad at her, but I'm going to go 3-7 on the A line and use the 5 on the B line. So a little bit of a host fail, Jackson. I really didn't, kind of talk to you about you and your horse playing and things about you. So since we've gone through all the handicapping, we know you definitely know what you're talking about here. Just tell us a little more about you.
Yeah, I love the races right now. I'm a little bummed that Del Mar's over, but we're getting to the fun part of the year with San Anita coming up, and then you got Keeneland and the Breeders' Cup. I'm actually going to Keeneland for the first time in about a month, so I'm very excited for that.
Awesome.
Going to play in the Friday contest, hoping to maybe play in the Saturday contest. As far as my betting goes, I'm trying to transition to just mostly playing win bets and doubles, and then pick 4s and pick 5s when my opinions are really strong. And this is one of the pick 4s that I really like is the dollar minimums because I think they're great. Anytime you can get higher minimums, it's always beneficial for the bettors. And again, it really forces you to have those stronger opinions. And if you don't, then you play to win. Or you play the doubles, play higher percentage bets. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. It's gone a lot better than it has in the past. So it's working so far. So we're trying to stick with that for the future.
Yeah, I know you're a big contest guy too. You mentioned a couple contests. Is that something you pretty frequent? Is that like an every weekend thing for you, or more just you kind of spot different the big ones?
I try to spot. They're most of them are a little out of my price range. I wish they had some more affordable ones, but most of the big contests are 500 or 1,000 or 2,000. Mm-hmm. If they had $100, $200 ones, I'd be playing them every single weekend. But I don't know if there's just no demand for them or they're just not quite there yet. I don't know what it is, but you can always do it on the side too. You can practice. You can set aside $100 and practice getting to a target. And a lot of those times, those are your best chances of winning because again, you're focused on a couple key plays, and those are your strongest opinions. And that's usually when you're at your best. So, not a bad way to go about a card.
Well, speaking of contests, Contest Jockey starts at Assiniboia. I know we tried last week. The air didn't cooperate. So if you're into contests, this is a free contest. Now go to contestjockey.com and you can go to click on the Assiniboia contest. So if you go to the main page to Contest Jockey, you'll see Assiniboia Tuesday. Now, if you have to be a member to get in here. It's free to sign up. All you need is your email address. So go to Assiniboia Tuesday, come over here to join contest for free, and then you're in. So there's already 38 people signed up for the Tuesday contest. Now, starts in race number 1 on Tuesday. You'll see if you head towards races, starts in race 1. There's minimums for each race. The top bankroll wins. Everybody starts with a mythical $240 bankroll, and the top, person at the end wins. And you can see the prize structure, cash prizes. So if you win, you get $100. Mike Novak will contact you and we'll get you your money. So no reason not to jump in on Assiniboia Tuesday. Jump in on the Contest Jockey contest. Jump in on the late pick 4. And Jackson, this was fun. I hope to talk to you again soon. We'll get you doing some more contests, hopefully. And, we like your opinion. Good luck with Assiniboia on Tuesday.
Yeah, you too, man. Good luck. And hopefully see you on the leaderboard, Contest Jockey, man.
Yeah, I'm jumping in for sure. I'm going to put that image up one last time. This has been a production of In the Money Media. We'll see you guys next time. We got one more week at Assiniboia Downs, and I think PTF might be making an appearance next week for Assiniboia. We'll see you guys.